it's Nancy from Nettle's Place. I had to remember where I was because I kept reading my shirt. Anyway, I am back today and wanted to share some things with you that I have accomplished over the last couple months. So, to start with, I always start with my calendar and share that with you. The last entries we had were in June, was my last video. So, really, there was not much going on in June for me. I just was working every day. We were gearing up to going into the office 2 days a week starting in July. And in July? Was that in June? No, I think we did it in June. And my team decided we would go in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and spend our time at the office then. So that worked pretty good. You know, there's still a lot of protocol in place, and you have to wear a mask every place you go, and anytime you're in the office, when you're moving from station to station. The only time we didn't have to wear a mask was when we were at our own desks. And it made it difficult for us because we're a small team and there's only 3 of us. So conference rooms are really too large for us. We do have our own office room that we call our Creativity Center, but still it only has a table that seats 6. So it's a little bit too small for protocol, and we can't really go in there. So one of us goes in there, one of us sits at our desk, and the other one sits in her office, and we video still, even though we are in the office and could be around each other. So that's kind of disheartening, but we're doing okay, and we're moving forward with it. July, we had a couple things come up. First was we had a COVID scare. A couple of girls that Jamie works with came down with COVID and were in the office working, and finally had to be told they had to go home, that they could not stay there with COVID. They had tested positive, and was just entirely ridiculous. They did stay home for 10 days. Neither one of them tested negative before they came back, so that was really, again, disheartening. You would hope the management would know that if they had not had their vaccinations, they had to stay out a full 14 days and then be tested negative before they could come back, but that wasn't the case here. But anyway, I stayed because Jamie was there and could have had carry the COVID home to us. I felt it best to stay at home and work from home for 14 days to make sure I didn't pass that on to anyone else. I have a girl in the office who has not been vaccinated, so I, wanted to respect her decision and did not want to put her at peril. So I stayed home and worked from home during that time. Later in July, the 26th, we had Eric's birthday, and that was really fun. We didn't really do anything special. He had presents, he had birthday dinner, but it was just fun to recognize it. In August, first part of August went pretty slow, and then August 25th to the 30th, Sue Ellen and Eddie came down and spent some time with, or I should say come up, because they came from Texas, and we spent some time together. We did a lot of talking and chatting, and had fun playing hot dice again. We went to Weston and spent a day at Weston, which was really fun. It's a quaint little town. It has a lot of different shops. We spent way too much money there, but came home with some good prizes, if you will. So I really enjoyed that. They left on Monday, and then I had the balance of the week off on vacation before today's holiday. So I spent that time doing things that I don't normally do. Like I went to antique stores that were farther away, and I found some things that I really liked and bought those. Um, I went to, I did a lot of shopping, actually, is what I did. Shopping at stores that I don't normally shop at. So it was fun, and I've enjoyed it. I've also spent a lot of time, at home here, just resting and not recuperating, but preparing to go back to work. So, which I will do tomorrow, Tuesday. And it's been a nice, slow, relaxing vacation. I've really enjoyed it. But the good thing with Sue Ellen and Eddie was we talked, had tons of conversation and laughs, and that's always good for your soul when you can do that. So next up are books that I've read. Am currently at 17 out of 35. I'm at 49% and continue to be 6 behind. I feel like I've read a lot of books, but I just can't seem to get ahead of schedule yet. So I'm going to have to really start moving in order to hit that 35 by the end of the year, because I've got September, October, November, December, 4 months to come up with the rest of those books. That's a lot of books a month to me. So, first book I read since we've last spoken is Treachery at Lancaster Gate. It's by Anne Perry. And if you've watched my videos, you know I love Anne Perry. I love all of her books. It doesn't matter what it is. Thomas and Charlotte Pitt are very good. He is a chief inspector and of the police force. It's all set in a Victorian timeline. And, that's when women really weren't supposed to be smart enough to do anything but be a pretty bauble sitting in the living room. So Charlotte really throws them all for the loop when she actually shows that she has a brain and knows what to do. In this one, it's about the world as they know it is on the brink of change, and there's a lot of revolts and people not wanting to change, a lot of people wanting to change. You know how that goes. And then there was an explosion that killed 2 policemen. So Thomas and Charlotte had to really work hard and fast to figure out who the culprit was before there was another murder. Then I read The Angel Court Affair, again by Anne Perry. And this was another fine read full of kidnapping, international intrigue, and sleight of hand. This kept me interested and wondering who the culprit was from the very beginning to the very last page. That's enough. If you like mysteries like that, I think you'd like that. Really? I only read 3 books? No, I forgot to turn to the other page. The next book I read was Secrets of the Chocolate House. Now this is book number 2 by Paula Brackston of the Found Things series. So this is the one with Xanthi, who travels through time because a found object calls to her and there's a situation that needs correcting, and she is there to do that. So this book just wowed me. I mean, it kept me engaged from the first line to the very last line. Xanthi, this time, when she travels, she discovers who and what she is, which is a spinner, a time spinner. So that was really interesting, how they did that and how they, it's not a time traveler. They changed the name of it and made it work in this book, and I really liked that. But of course, there's always a villain, and he's dogging her through every single thing she does. She thinks she's free of him, and then all of a sudden, well, you're going to have to read the book to figure out the rest of it. I think you'll like it. Take a chance on it. It's a good read. That's a good series, and I'm waiting for the next one. Well, actually, I read the next one, which is The Garden of Promises and Lies, and it's by Paula Brackston, Found Things #3. And in this one, she's called back in time again, and it's, of course, full of intrigue, mystery, and mayhem. She overhears a conversation by someone who she thought she could trust, and realized that not everything can be taken at face value, even in the past. So she also found out this time that she can take someone with her, which was really interesting because she was able to travel with her little dog accidentally at first, and then with another person to help out her situation. So again, I like that series. I think it's really good. I'm looking for the next one in a downloadable format so that I can listen to that as I'm working and via phone, to and from work too. Next book I read was Ghosts of Harvard, and it's by Francesca Seritella. I loved it. I really, really loved it. In this, we examine the human psyche and how tangled we become if we don't have the entire picture before we pass judgment. You really have to listen to it because it's a good book. It's about a family of 4, and it touches on mental illness. There's a lot of mystery. There's coded messages, espionage, and of course the normal family issues that come up with in any family. So I highly, highly recommend that one. Next book I have is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I just couldn't get into that book. It was just way too heavy. I just didn't like it. So unfortunately I had to pass on it. But I really, really like this next book. And it is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. It's hilarious. There were parts of it that made me gasp. There were parts that made me laugh out loud. I just think you would really love it. It's a roller coaster from the start to finish. And it literally is about a book club who unknowingly invited a vampire into their midst, and then what they have to do to expel him, to get rid of him. Beneath all of the drama and the mayhem, there was a thread of true friendship between the book club ladies. And you all know that if you've got a good friend, they're your friend regardless. So this was, it just makes me laugh thinking about it because there were so many situations that were just so funny, so funny. I think you would like it. It's a fun read with a serious undertone. So I think you'd like that one. The next, see, and I made my eyes tear up. I was trying not to laugh at you. The next book I read was A Secret History of Witches by Louisa Morgan. This one was really interesting. It's about 5 generations of Romney women who pass their skills and training down through time to their daughters. Each time they're passed, the recipient gets a different skill from the mother that's passing the information. And it really, I found it really, really intriguing because, you know, as we all know, the community will support you and love you until they don't. And that's what this was about, how quickly the community could turn and put these women to death, you know, kill them, whatever. It was really interesting, and I think you might like that. And it's a good relationship story between all the mothers and the daughters. Then I read The Selection by Kiera Cass. And this was a new one. It's kind of, my cat's knocking at the door. I don't know if you can hear that. They say it's Divergent and Harry Potter and all of these mixed together. So I've kind of had a fun time with it. The world that they are living in has changed after what they call World War IV. And the Chinese invaded their land and took over, and then there was a world war against them. This caused their world, their United States of America, changed their name, and they are now in a caste system from 1 being the royalty to 8 who have no skills. They're just the dregs of the earth, have nothing available. Each level has a special skill. Our heroine here, our girl that we're focusing on, her name is America, and she is a level 5. She is completely and utterly in love with Aspen, who is a level 6, who has to work every day hard to make just pennies, and barely is able to, he and his family barely able to survive. America, like I said, she's a level 5, and her family has musical skills, so they will do shows and concerts and weddings and things to be paid, but of course, you know, still not making very much money and not able to get by. What happens is every girl in all castes, once they reach a certain age, if there is a prince at the same age, they're pulled into a selection, 35 girls from all these 8 castes. So America is one of those, and she is selected to live at the palace and get to know Prince Maxon. She rails against this because she didn't want to leave Aspen, who it was going to be hard anyway for her to have a relationship with him because he was a lower caste, and she would be moved from the 5 to his caste level. Her parents would more than likely not have allowed that. Now they're elated that she has gone to Maxon and be part of the selection. So she's surprised that he is not the man that's portrayed every week in the reports that come out about the State of the Union. So it's kind of fun, kind of interesting. I have moved on and am now reading The Elite, which is down to the last 5 girls, and I'll tell you what happens in it, or not so much what happens, but what I think of it once I get through with it. So that's my books so far. The projects I will have Eric drop in here. I've completed my kitchen painting job, and absolutely love it. It's so much brighter, so inspiring in there now. It's very, very pretty. I really like it. And then I did some redecorating for fall. Or I shouldn't say redecorating, decorating for fall. But that's really it. I'll have Eric drop those in, and then until next time, brightest blessings. Bye bye.